Johnson's the right height, right?
Thank you for listening to WWFU's production of Public Bars, Co-ed Bathrooms, New Pickup Spot, or just Ally McBeal wannabes. Sponsored by Jimmy's Pub and listeners like you. Please send your contributions in care of WWFU, Patchogue, New York, Suite 4Q. And now some music. Hey, what do you think?
That was great.
Yeah,
those elocution classes are really working.
Yeah, the electrocution's working really good. I've been really working on my diction, you know what I'm saying?
Remember, phonics. Right, the next thing is the Sally Squires play, Blessed in the Dust.
Yeah, Sally Squires. Yeah, I met her outside before. She's a fantastic looking lady. You know what I'm saying?
Plus she writes really well, too. I'm dying to put this thing on. Let me see if Whitey's got everybody ready.
Yo, if you need me to do a part there, I'm ready to do something, okay?
No problem. I'll keep you in mind. Whitey! Are they ready yet? Tell Mrs. Radio Man they don't need to get made up. You believe this 5 minutes before air and they're not ready yet? We should have stuck with those college kids. They're a lot more enthusiastic.
Hey, you could have hired me.
That's a second thought. But we had to go blow the budget on professionals. Whitey!
On the way now, Coach.
Ah, great, we're on the air.
Getting made up.
She's still got that sex symbol mentality after all these years. You remember she used to be the Latin pigeon in those Beach Bunny movies years ago?
That was before my time, Vinny.
They used to call her the It Girl.
He's more like cousin here from the Addams Family.
Sip it, Whitey. You know how temperamental they can get. Besides, she just had her hair done. She should look semi-human now. See if they need anything before they come in. Do you believe Caruso talked us into using his daughter? 14 years old. She's making twice as much as you and me put together. Take my coat. Whitey, grab his coat. Jimmy, this is my engineer, Ruben.
Mr. Caruso, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm a big fan of yours. I plan to follow in your footsteps. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Vinny, my daughter, Terry, Ruben. Very nice to meet you. This is my engineer, Ruben.
Spot on! This is 14!
All right.
If she was in Brooklyn, we'd make it 50 right away. You know what I'm saying?
Keep a leash on him.
I will.
Hey, not a bad little studio you have here, Vinny. Kind of reminds me back of my old days. You know, I got my start in public radio back in the 70s. I used to run into you every now and again. I always wondered kind of like what happened to you.
You never stopped trying to get the message out, Jim. Putting the issues in front of people. I always thought we were doing a public service.
Issues never pay the bills. You can't remain a hippie forever.
You probably have no problems with that now that you're known as the voice.
Jimmy!
My daughter, Terry.
Charles?
Maria, good to see you again.
Nice to meet you, too.
My name is Ruben, and you're the most spectacular thing I ever seen. I mean, you're incredible. After all these years, you look fabulous.
Thank you.
Ruben, jump in behind the controls there. Oh, please.
Did you know, Vinny, that phone company subscriptions went up 56% when I was doing their ads?
The fact that they were giving away long distance for 50 cents an hour probably had nothing to do with that increase.
A factor, yes, but who delivered the message?
If you were so effective, how come last year you were replaced by a cartoon rabbit and a basketball player?
So why did you hire me? And why were your station bigwigs so anxious to give me such a quite tidy sum and include my daughter in the bargain?
Dad, don't start.
I'll tell you why. Because Vinny Caruso, the voice, will get more than a few college-age dissidents to listen to this station. And speaking of my voice, boy, I need tea immediately.
Do me a favor, Whitey. Grab Mr. Caruso a cup of tea.
2 teaspoons, eucalyptus honey. None of that plain stuff like the last time.
Frank, cut the station music. Go ahead, Whitey. The eucalyptus honey, it should be in the pantry cupboard there with the other goodies. Hold on a second. Anybody else need anything, Terry? Miss Rios?
Glass of water, please.
Get a pitcher of ice water on a tray with some glasses. Pronto, we're on in a couple of minutes. By the way, Rhea, your hair looks lovely today.
It's a new hairdo I'm trying for a new part in a new sitcom.
Oh?
It's about a teacher who is the object of her students' desires.
That sounds like good comedy to me. Good luck with that.
Why, thank you. Parts just don't come like they used to.
Rhea, I would think it's kind of tough to be a sex symbol when you're a grandmother. What is this, a school for the blind or what? Oh, Padawan.
Kidding around. He's kidding around.
You're right, Terry. You've learned your lessons well. Always be kind to the people you meet on the way up, because they're going to be the same people you meet on the way down.
All right. Let me show you how we're going to set up. Rhea, you're going to be on this mic here. Jimmy, you're going to be on this mic here. We'll separate the combatants. We've already got the confrontational mood set. Let me give out. Everybody got their scripts?
No, not yet. Oh, all right.
Let's pass them out.
Hey, Vinny, by the way, I hear this may be the last production this station has.
Oh?
Yeah, from what I hear, the station's selling out to a big media conglomerate. They're going to go into an all-sports talk format.
You know, I've heard the rumors, but I've got no confirmation. All sports, huh? That's where the money is today.
Well, if they should offer you a position, you should take it. This kind of station's had its time. Music marathons and radio theater. Vinny, you know, that kind of stuff went out with the 50s. Lead the social commentary to the younger generation, like my daughters.
Daddy, you know I want to follow in your footsteps.
You know, I have been thinking about it, and it would help pay the bills. Let me see if Whitey's got that stuff. Whitey! We need the drinks!
Okay, Coach.
Great, put them on the table and get at the effects. We need you there.
Thank you, Dad.
Here's your script, too, Whitey. I'll give it to Ruben.
Me. Oh, is this eucalyptus honey?
It should be. That's all
All
we
right,
got in
I
the
don't
cup.
know.
All right, guys, there are 3 ad breaks and 1 10-second station identification. Okay, they should all be marked in your scripts.
Okay.
All right, we're on in about a minute, so everybody get ready.
Okay.
Okay, Frank, music.
Okay, go.
Quiet! In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The following is WWFU's production of the radio play Less Than the Dust. Written by Sally Squires, it stars Rhea Rios as Zapdos, Jimmy Caruso, the voice, as Ernesto, and introducing Terry Caruso as Jilly. The play is directed by Vinny Marino.
Less than the dust, this side of hell. That's where a woman is born. Mother, how could you? The disgrace of it.
Well, hello, Ernesto. How nice to see you.
They rang me at the office in the middle of the meeting. Sir Gerald was not amused.
And how are you, dear? You're looking well. You really shouldn't let yourself get quite so excited.
Yes. Hello, Mother.
So nice of you to take the time out of your busy schedule to attend your mother's funeral.
It's not your funeral, Mother. It's your wake. You're buried at a funeral.
Just like you like, dear. What a strange thing to call it. Most people are dead for their wake. Awake is one thing they aren't. Don't pace, dear. It makes me dizzy.
Well, if you weren't patched up in that ridiculous coffin, I'd be able to talk to you properly. You were always one for the dramatic gestures, Mother, but sitting in a coffin is going entirely over the top.
Oh, well, dear. And how old are you anyway?
60.
Already?
Well, 64, if you must know.
Ah, yes, I remember. 64 years ago, I was on a dirt floor in Kenya, having you.
Dirt floor? I seem to remember you saying it was a safari cabin.
And did I tell you how the lions rode? Just like you're doing now?
And I have every reason to roar. Getting yourself tossed out of Tibet. What in God's name were you doing in Tibet?
Nothing to get your blood blood pressure in a dance about.
The government don't throw sick 92-year-old ladies out of the country for doing nothing. What the devil were you doing there?
The devil's on the side of the government there, dear. He's just trying to make the Chinese see sense. Light my cigar like a good boy.
Don't you think you should give up those filthy things at your age?
At my age? What harm could they possibly do?
And I wish you'd stop calling me boy. I'm the general manager of the Powerhouse Electric Company. And not a word from you in 3 months. I had no idea where you were. Well, here's the last letter you wrote. You were off to Spain. I think I'll go to Seville and lace about for a few weeks. The next thing I hear, you're getting yourself thrown out of Tibet for demonstrating against a legal government.
It isn't legal.
That's just your opinion.
Not just mine, dear.
And that gives your people the right to demonstrate?
And how could I turn my back on my friends after so many years?
What kind of friends ask a 92-year-old to lead a revolution?
The kind who treat me with respect, not as an invalid or an imbecile. I didn't lead it, I was just part of it. We were demonstrating our views.
Just like the government demonstrated that you shouldn't have been there. Get out of here.
Now don't excite yourself, dear. It's not good for your blood pressure.
My blood pressure? If you cared, you wouldn't be getting yourself tossed out of Tibet. Instead, you'd be reclining royally in Seville, just like you wrote in your letter.
How sweet of you to carry my letter. You do have a sentimental side to you, dear Ernesto.
I always keep your letters, Mother.
Why?
They're our only link. Besides, we seem to get along much better by letter than in person.
My boy, now light my cigar like I asked you to.
I hate cigars. I hate the smell of them.
Now, how is darling Jilly? She is the only member of the family who understands me. Strange that an 18-year-old who has grown up in a world so different from mine understands me. She never tells me to behave like a normal 90-year-old. After all, most people my age are dead. And I still feel like I'm 20.
Well,
You're listening to WWFU.
well, if you feel like you're 20, why are you having a wake?
I might get struck by lightning and be gone just like that. And I'd miss out on the fun of being at my own funeral.
Lightning?
I'm surprised you're here early. I thought I'd have time for a glass of champagne before anyone arrived. And you rushed through the door looking like dogs were chasing you.
I had to get out of the office before the demonstrators arrived.
What demonstrators?
Well, we got a tip that they were going to set up a demonstration outside of our offices.
So you aren't here early because you couldn't wait to see your darling mother?
It's not like that, Mother. It was just more convenient to come early and avoid the demonstration.
I see. I'm just an excuse to avoid an unpleasant scene.
You're determined not to understand, aren't you?
This is another side of you I've never seen. Don't tell me at 64 you're actually starting to take the sort of risks that upset people. I always thought you were the boring type. I'm very pleased to hear I was wrong.
You may call me boring, but other people think I'm responsible and quite respectable.
Yes, I'm sure they do.
Someone in the family has to be sensible. Believe me, that's not easy when you've got a mother like you.
Really?
I've had to overcome that disadvantage and fight hard to be acceptable.
I'm surprised. I thought having a mother who allowed you the freedom to do anything you wanted would be an advantage.
Well, that's not what I mean, but it has put me on the wrong foot, as far as my associates were concerned.
Well, you may think I've been a disadvantage, but your associates have always told me how lucky you were to have such a thoroughly modern mother.
Of course they told you that. They would. They wouldn't hurt your feelings. It wouldn't be the done thing. You're bugging me.
You're telling me that you and your friends go around telling lies because it's the done thing?
Mother, it's not like that. It's just that you have to...
Have to what? Lie your way through life to be considered a success?
No, but there are rules and conventions.
Oh, now I understand. If you call them rules and conventions, it's okay. They're not lies.
Oh, Mother, you're always trying to be obtuse.
This concludes the first portion of our program. Please stay tuned as we continue the battle of the generations. Now, some music and these messages.
Okay, Frank. Lower the music.
Okay,
Whitey,
what do you
5-minute
think of
break.
him?
See if anybody needs anything.
Boy, another tea.
Daddy, must you call him boy?
Well, that's what he is, isn't he? He can't be more than 12. Vinny, I thought they had child labor laws.
Hey, he's on a work-study program with school as a radio intern. The kid works hard and he's enthusiastic as hell. And also, that's all we can afford on our limited budget.
Well, I'm used to working with professionals. However, he does seem fairly capable.
Perhaps if you'd like somebody with more experience, you could forfeit some of your fee. Then we could go out and hire a professional.
All right, let's not panic. You're too young to play the angry old man.
I guess I'm edgy about our station status. We could be sold at any time, and we have to make do with substandard equipment and with whatever cheap help we can get.
You gotta watch that. Where's that kid
Can you get that kid? All right. They told me you had an ass, but what an ass!
Leave it there, the cat will get it.
That's perfectly all right. That's perfectly all right. You know, Eddie, I wanted to tell you, you do a heck of a job on a shoestring budget. You could probably knock them dead on a commercial radio.
Well, what about stories like this? Stories like this don't make it on commercial radio, and it's too relevant to pass on. What about the people who care?
Oh, come on. How many people really care, Vinny? The station probably won't even break even on this production, and you're probably getting more and more gray hair worrying about its quality. Meanwhile, everybody else is listening to the sports talk, oldies. That's where the market, where the money is.
Yeah, but don't we have a duty to make stories like this available?
Not if it doesn't put food on the table.
And I see you haven't missed too many meals lately.
You're darn right, and I've got a wardrobe, too. I see you go to all the fine designers for your clothes. Hanes, Levi's, the freaking Carlos Santana
Come on,
shop.
Jimmy, don't be hard on him. Don't be hard on him. Fame and wealth is very fleeting. You know, you get stereotyped for parts. Then you look at your body of work and say to yourself, now what have I really done?
Yeah, but you made a fortune in your time.
Yeah, but I signed my contract when I was a naive teenager. I made money as well as my agents, but not half as much as what I should have. And now I have to scrounge for parts.
Well, you know, Rio, that's the advantage of being known for your voice.
Well, I'm sure you got a lot of offers for action movies.
Daddy did the biggest action movie ever.
Yeah, he was the voice of the evil general in Star Brigade.
Get out of here! That's my favorite movie!
Yeah, it's a shame you were just a voice. Would have loved to see you do some of those laser battle scenes.
Oh, what I like that face.
What's up with him?
He's suffering from an identity crisis. First he thinks he's Enrico Caruso, now he thinks he's Jackie Gleason. All right, it's man defense. All right, guys, ready to go on again?
Okay.
Frank, turn up that music. Frank, you can turn up the music. All right, Frank. Quiet! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We now return to Less Than the Dust. as Ernesto's granddaughter, Jilly, is about to join Ernesto and Santos.
Now, to answer your question about Jilly, she's fine, but she's got some damn fool notion about throwing her life away.
Oh, my God. What is she going to do? Marry a stockbroker? Or worse, a banker?
Cheap shot, Mother.
But you've gotten me off the track of those demonstrators. What are they demonstrating about? Tell me before the reporters arrive.
Reporters? Lord, they mustn't find out I'm your son. I mean, you're my mother.
Oh, don't worry if that's what's bothering you. I won't own up to you now. What have you done?
It's just business. You wouldn't understand.
Wouldn't understand? I did extremely well running your father's business after he died.
Let's not exaggerate. It was an engineering business. Uncle Charlie ran it.
Uncle Charlie. If he wasn't your father's brother, I would have sacked him. Uncontrollable gambler. He fiddled the till for years. Don't worry. I hid his little excesses. We won't have any family scandal.
You ran the business? And when did you have the time? In between all your trips overseas?
Silly boy. What do you think I was doing overseas? I was signing new customers.
I was away at college. I heard about you getting about to some country, and I thought you took a lot of holidays.
I can see I made a mistake shielding you from the realities of life. Really? You really don't understand it all, and I guess it is my fault.
Well, I understood the embarrassment of you and my father not being married.
I don't understand why so many people have a need to sign their lives away. It's as if they don't trust themselves.
It's the grown-up thing to do.
Thank goodness I've never grown up. If two people are truly committed to each other, it should be their business and theirs alone.
But the marriage ceremony announces it to the world.
In olden days, it gave churches power over people by putting the fear of God into them. Today, it just puts money in lawyers' pockets.
It's about love, Mother.
Love? Ha! Poppycock. If you love someone, you want them to be free, to reach their full potential, instead of wanting to own them by signing a piece of paper.
It's no use. You'll never understand convention.
Hello, Grandpa. You beat me. I thought I'd have a chance to speak to Grandma on my own.
What's all that noise outside?
Well, Chili, how lovely to see you.
Oh, Grandma, what a bright coffin that is. What is this about a funeral? You look perfectly alive to me. They're just reporters, Grandpa, here to interview our famous revolutionary.
They can't find me here. I will have to go out the back door.
Thank goodness he's gone. I'm sure I don't know how I came to have such a son. Honestly, Jilly, I think God must have played a joke on me.
Have you ever thought that in his own way, he's being just as rebellious as you are?
And how do you see that?
With you as his mother, the ultimate act of rebellion would be for him to be as conservative as possible.
Oh, you are clever. Come here and give me a kiss. What are you doing with your life?
I'm going to Africa to work in an orphanage.
Good for you.
Of course, Father and Grandpa are dead set against it. They think I'm throwing my life away.
There's an expression that you young folk use that I've always lived by.
What's that, Grandma?
Xanthus, please, dear. You know how I hate the word grandma? Makes me sound like an old lady.
Well, technically,
I know. Your great-grandma. Don't remind me.
Well, I certainly think you're great.
F you!
WFU, Long Island Public Radio.
What was that?
That's the expression, Jilly. That's what I've always lived by.
Oh?
If anyone criticized whatever I did, I'd say, F you!
WFU, Long Island Public Radio.
Only to myself, of course, never out loud. My own private joke. I'd say it and go off and do whatever I'd originally intended to do.
Grandpa would be shocked.
Ernesto is such a boring toad. Yes, that expression has been the most useful I found in the English language.
You really are quite outrageous. I'm surprised you never had your mouth washed out with soap.
Oh, my cigar's done.
We will break from the bonding of Xanthus and Jilly for a moment for a few messages.
How the hell do our call letters pop up in the middle of the play?
Hey, Vinny, I got confused. I thought I heard the cue. I'm sorry.
In the middle of dialogue. When have we ever done that?
I thought it was the start of Armageddon. The first break-in scared the daylights out of me.
I can see that.
Hey!
I thought it was hysterical. Rhea, the look on your face was priceless. Kind of like that expression in that movie you did, Ride the Wild Surf.
Yeah.
You know, the one where the tidal wave hits Acapulco? You know, Vinny, I'd forgotten how fresh and spontaneous live radio could be. You know, you guys were terrific. You didn't miss a beat. Terry, that's my girl.
I wouldn't be too proud, Daddy. I was actually asking what was that.
Oh, but you went with it, babe. You went with it.
Giggling in a bikini was much easier because on film you get do-overs.
Yeah. Well, that's what I get for not having a run-through. Damn budget doesn't allow you to polish up anything.
Don't be discouraged by what you see here, Terry. When you make it to the big time, things are worked to perfection. Especially when you're doing entertainment, not social commentary.
Ah, I'm glad you're staying in character during the break. Ernesto is a pompous windbag.
But I'm a pompous, well-paid windbag. Don't forget it.
Yeah, but what do you really know? What do you give back to society? I'll bet your daughter knows absolutely nothing about Tibet.
Hello, I know what's where the Himalayas are.
Oh, where'd we learn this?
The Mysteries of the World on TV. They were talking about the abominable snowman.
The abominable snowman. That's why we have a duty to inform today's kids. They're not going to learn anything watching music videos or horror slasher movies.
I'm beginning to see your point.
All right.
Music in the world?
Okay, next scene is starting now, kids.
You know, Vinny. You know, if Frank opened his mouth once in a while, I wouldn't have messed up. You know, you don't talk. You know. You got a big mouth. You don't do nothing about it.
All right. Relax. Take a chill pill and relax, all right? Sit down in the front. We've got a couple of redheads coming in for you later.
I know, right? Frank. I'm down. Relax. Got a show.
Quiet! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We now drop in once again on Xanthus and Jilly as we rejoin Less Than the Dust.
Pass me another cigar, please, Jilly. And open up the champagne. I need some fizz. I love cigars. My father gave me my first one on my 17th birthday. I remember him saying, no additives like cigarettes, only hand-rolled cigars, pure leaf tobacco.
Daddy's very against smoking.
He's quite right. It's a filthy, dangerous habit. I once talked an old boyfriend into smuggling me into Cuba one night for cigars. And in Nepal, a farmer grew special tobacco for me. It made me feel very lightheaded. But I had wonderful dreams.
Damn it, that would have been pot.
I was always so relaxed visiting him.
No wonder.
Well, it's all water under the bridge now. Or out of the pot. Sorry. Poor attempt at a joke. I'm afraid that Ernesto has spoiled my sense of humor. Tell me, what has he done to cause a demonstration?
His company wants to build a power station in China.
China?
That's why he's in such a foul mood. He doesn't want you to know what he's up to with the Chinese government.
You mean my own son is doing a deal with the same government that has destroyed Tibet?
Afraid so.
No wonder he looks so ashamed of himself, skulking around the room. And he just couldn't look me in the eye. So what are you going to do about it?
What can I do about it?
Stop him, of course!
You can't stop a powerhouse that's being built by your own son. He's family.
Family or not, he's going to be stopped. Lucky Forrest taught me how to make Molotov cocktails.
You can't be serious, Xanthus. You can't go around throwing Molotov cocktails. people could get it.
When trying to break down walls between people, a Molotov cocktail is a handy little number. I'll teach you how to make them, Jilly. It's easy.
I'm never gonna need to know how to make one.
Never know when you may want to make a point to someone. A Molotov cocktail tends to get their attention. That was Boris's opinion.
Boris? You never told me about Boris.
Dear, sweet Boris. He was the best lover I ever had. Such imagination. I shouldn't corrupt such a sweet young thing as you talking about sex.
Xanthus, I do know about sex, but I wouldn't have thought.
Wouldn't have thought that I still think about sex? Well, sex has always kept me young. I still have a hankering for it.
At 92, how can you still be interested in sex?
How do you have sex at 92? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
All you need is a virile and energetic 32-year-old male.
You're making me blush.
Well, if I can make a girl blush at 92, then I'm not doing too badly. Now, back to the main subject. Tell me more about what your grandfather's been up to.
All I know is that his company is negotiating to build a power station, but he won't discuss it with me. He says I just give him grief about it like you would. And of course, he's furious with you.
Me?
Such a delicate point in the negotiations, and your dead great-grandmother has to draw attention to herself.
That's very good, Jilly. You captured just the right hit of wounded pride and violated ego. Pompous trout.
You weren't thrown out of Tibet for tossing Molotov cocktails, were you?
Of course not, dear. Demonstration. Buddhists are peace lovers. You know your father and grandfather criticize me because they say I don't take life seriously enough. But serious people start wars.
And the more wars they start, the more serious and self-righteous they get.
Oh, that's why I've tried to teach as many young people as I can to develop a sense of humor. It helps keep things in perspective.
That's the trouble with grandfather. He has no sense of humor, and he lets you get under his skin instead of taking it with a huge grain of salt.
Formal education kills people's imagination, creativity, and senses of humor. And if any humor is left, society knocks it out of them before they can get much older.
Don't you think you're exaggerating it just a bit?
I guess in some countries, going to school is a prize to be treasured. We take a lot for granted here. Education, drinkable water, even women's rights. In some countries, just being a woman is a death sentence. Did you know that every year millions of babies are killed for no other reason than the fact that they are girls?
That's horrendous. How can that be allowed to happen?
Not enough people demonstrate against it. Not enough people care. In a different world, it would all be different.
Speaking of an imperfect world, haven't you forgotten those reporters outside?
Let them in. I'll give them a story.
You come in now!
Hello, everyone. Come on in. Don't be shy. Jilly, more fish, please.
Is this a hunger strike against the Chinese government because of what they've done in Tibet?
This is not a hunger strike. I've invited my family to my funeral to remind them that I am alive! However, you must know that the Chinese government has killed many thousands of Tibetan monks and natives, destroying the culture of a very ancient civilization.
Is it true that you are really Amelia Earhart?
No comment.
Or do you think demonstration will make any difference? So far, the Chinese government hasn't taken any notice of criticism of their actions in Tibet.
The trouble is not enough people have demonstrated about it. Where was the United Nations when Tibet was being invaded? They're quick to get into Somalia or Bosnia, but where are they when places like Tibet need help?
Did you know that the power station your son is planning to build will wipe out the last known habitat of one of China's rarest bear populations?
I had no idea. I've only just found out that he's dealing with the Chinese government. Jilly, help me out of this coffin.
I thought you were having a funeral.
There's no time for that now. You've got to join the demonstration outside Ernesto's office.
Get him out of here. You're gonna about here.
Please stay tuned for the conclusion of today's production after these messages and newsflash.
Good job, sweetheart. It was a lot better than before the first break.
Why'd you check for headlines?
Remember to keep everything big. That's the key.
Whew, I'm about to poop out. I can't even remember all these lines and rules. I know this.
Hang tough, guys. All we have to do now is close up.
This is on the wire, Coach. It's not good news.
Oh? Oh. Ruben, I'll do the news flash.
What's the matter? You don't like the way I do the news flash? I can do the news flash.
This is an important story. I want to get this one right. Nothing personal.
All right.
WWFU News Flash. Public radio station WWFU has been sold by the county to the Transitional Services Corporation for an undisclosed sum. Starting the 1st of next month, WWFU will convert to an all-sports talk format. In a minute, the conclusion of Less Than the Dust.
Well, I guess it's no longer a rumor.
Wow, this is it, our last production. I guess after this, we'll have to fill out the next 3 weeks with old music and old programming. Then it's job hunting for me.
This isn't a tragedy, Vinny. It's a golden opportunity. It's your chance to get a job in real radio. You've got some talent. You might even do well at the mic. This could be the biggest break you've ever had.
Yeah, it would be a chance to make some real money for a change and actually do some entertaining stuff. Well, if this is our last show, let's end it big. We got a message to send you. All right, folks?
Yeah.
Everybody ready. Let's go. Frank, put up the studio music.
How you doing?
Quiet! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now the conclusion of Less Than the Dust, as Xanthus and Jilly rush to join the demonstration outside of Ernesto's office building. Jimmy.
That looks like Ernesto down on the pavement. Are you all right, Ernesto? What happened?
Such a fuss over nothing. I accidentally kicked over one of the demonstrators.
How could you?
Well, what was I supposed to do? I was trying to get back into my office. He was standing in my way.
That's not a civilized way to behave.
No, Mother, for heaven's sake, get off my back. I'm just trying to live my life. I don't need any lectures from you.
Excuse me, madam. We need some room to lift him.
But I thought you did the kicking, Ernesto. What are you being taken off in an ambulance?
I lost my balance, that's all. Fell over and hit my head. Nothing serious.
Yes, sir, but you could have a concussion. You need to be checked out.
Grandpa, I'll go to the hospital with you.
Oh, thank you, but that's not necessary, Jilly. Anyway, what are you two doing here? This is no place for you. Jilly, take Mother home.
Come on, Xanthus, let's go home.
Home nothing. Not me.
Hey!
Yeah, we're ringing out of there. Hey, ring it out, son.
This concludes our presentation of Less Than the Dust, a story of a woman who doesn't let her age stand in the way of her fighting for her principles. And now some music.
Right, Frank. Well, that's it, folks.
Not bad, Vinny. I'm used to better, bigger productions, but good job all around, I guess.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy. Thanks a lot.
It was a pleasure, except for that fright.
Thanks, Maria.
But you know, it wasn't half that bad. You ain't great public radio. The paycheck wasn't bad. And at least, I don't have to put on a bikini.
The male population of the country is grateful for that.
Again!
You're right, Rhea, just kidding. You're right, Terry. Listen, to prove I'm only kidding, I know a little place down the road, Jimmy's. Let's all go there for a cocktail. The first round's on me. Besides, Coke's for you. I just signed a big ad campaign. You know that Mama Pasta pizzeria chain?
Oh, the Italian
Oh, I
chain.
did. I got a year contract with them to do their voiceovers.
Nice.
Quite a tidy sum. And enough to put me in Italian food for the rest of my life.
And I'm sure the pasta makers and the farmers will be grateful for that. Choco.
Come on, let's go celebrate. You coming, Vinny?
I'll be there in a couple of minutes. I have work to do. I still have a message to send out.
Message, you see?
Quiet!